Hey guys, what's going on? So, a little bit of a delay in getting our window and dash and airbags. So, while we're waiting on getting those, I thought we might go ahead and start taking a look at this back end. As you know, this side got pushed in pretty hard, slapped in the accident. Will eventually require my biggest project, which will be replacing that rear quarter panel. But in the meantime, you know, the trunk won't even close because there is some bending beneath the skin surface. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling everything out of the trunk, getting down to where we can see the metal, see how the bends are, and see if we can start visualizing how to move those back. Anyway, first things first, it's darker than crap in here, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can replace some lights. Oh! Ballast. Now the fun part begins. I've got the inside of this mostly cleared out, and what you can see here is where when the car took the impact, the slap on this side that pushed everything in, all of this right here should be flat. So a lot of it's just folded in, so it might be easy just to pop it out a little bit. But some of it is going to be, because really you get into some of this structure in here and it doesn't look that bad. It looks a lot like the other side still. And the plastic that I took off there was only just kind of, you know, impacted on the side just a little. This piece in here, all good. So, and this piece here ends up being pretty flat vertically. Up to about right here where that bend is, so that's good. And then, but again, you can see it's kind of folded over on itself here a little bit. So a lot of movement in here that if we can push that back out here, but I think mostly for the most part this is just supposed to be a flat surface all the way around. This should be totally flat, and this ends up being flat. I'll show you the other side here as a point of comparison. So you can see there, this is flat. A little bit of a bend there, but flat up to here. But these parts in here are the same. And the seam on the other side was not messed up. So a flat surface here. It does angle in, obviously, but it is flat. So I got to work on that. You can see the structure in here is all pretty much the same. And then up in here is where that other one's just kind of kinked in, and all of this is pushed in. As it took the hit from there and slapped the deck lid over, it pushed the corner of it into this here. So that will end up being a little bit of body work there to get that kind of tapped back down and get it back to shape. It'll be a little bit of a fun chore that I'm not terribly concerned about. But you can see where some of these, you know, some of the impact along here did jam the deck lid over here and do some other things to, you know, the seal here. But what I want to show you is this area, if I can hold my light and point, the area down in here So the flatness of that and the shape of that comes around and stays wide, with the exception of it being folded over a little bit there. And this is relatively flat in here. If you come over here, it comes down around, and then it does not keep that nice smooth curve to come out down into here like this. So again, that's because this was pushed in. If I push this out to bring that back to kind of its normal shape, that will help flatten some of this buckling out in here and get us back to normal there. This is where a big reason why the trunk won't close is because this is pushed over on it a little bit. As you look in here, structurally, the substructure, I mean, that is the outer skin we're looking at right there. So the substructure behind it appears to be in good shape. Not much bending. It really did just get this back corner just slightly. Nothing in here seems to be misshapen. And then, like I said, all of this stuff back here is pretty good. The latch mechanism obviously did get slammed over here somewhat to the right side, but that's easily bent back, and this as well. And see where maybe I might be able to push against this, some of the stronger areas that are doubled up, and also be looking at where I can mount my put the other end of the pusher that has some strength, so I'm not doing equal and opposite movement and damage on the other side. That looks pretty strong. Back in here, I've got a Harbor Freight hydraulic pusher. Could do a little something. My concern there is just that I'd be pushing with this big ball. I'd be pushing out and kind of changing the shape of this outer structure. I really don't want to do that. Maybe I start working my way in. Bite-sized chunks and push. No, not there. Some pushing here, and work my way out. In case you're wondering how heavy duty that is. Anybody here think maybe I should read the instructions before I just go ham on this thing? I'm kind of thinking maybe I should, but hey, it is wrecked. What am I going to mess up? Got some good pressure out there that now maybe if I tap some of these and relieve a little bit of the pressure on them here, I might be able to get a little bit of correction going. Not being a body guy, I'm going to try this one first. If not, I'm going to my trusty carpenter hammer. Not sure if it shows up on here, but there's a little bit of a buckle right here coming out. I don't know if that's forming because I'm pushing this out, but I do feel like I'm starting to see this straightening up just a little bit in here and working its way out. So I'm going to keep working this bit by bit here. Did I already push that one out? Yeah, it's out right now. So I'm going to bring that back and come out into this point here a little bit. Pressure on that, like I said. Okay, just starting to see a little bit of a buckle there. See if I can relieve some of the stress on this. So I'm doing all of this here while I've got this pressure pushing out here. So that hopefully when I pull this back and relieve the pressure pushing here, this all is a little bit more to shape and kind of helps hold it. Alright, let's see what happens when we pull the pressure off. So it rolled in just a little bit, but that seemed to be about the only movement. Okay, first test fit, but it is the screwed up trunk, but let's see. So it has definitely moved this over. I've got about a 1/2 to 5/8 inch gap on this side, so that's good. Next I'm going to go ahead and take it off and swap it out with the other deck lid. Okay guys, sorry about that. I had a little bit of a video snafu, but anyway, we've got the red one on here, and now we are just going to come down and see how close we are. Funny, I've actually got that one maybe out further than it needs to be, or maybe this just needs to be tweaked over this way. It does look like it's still over this way just a little bit. A really hard time getting this thing to, when it hits, and it sounds like it should be shut, it's still sticking up here. It's in a little bit far that way. Same thing on this side. It's still jammed a little up against there. Alright guys, day 2. I'm actually kind of glad that this went into a second day, because yesterday I was struggling to try to get this to settle down. It has a little bit of a gap here, and this piece here seems to be pressing it outward slightly, making it hard for this to come all the way down and seal. Getting ahead on the final video, as I was editing it, you know, I could scroll and see in fast forward the movement that was happening, and so I show you that when I'm pushing here how it moves this whole panel. But not only that, it's moving this. It's moving this up and in, and this obviously up as I push up into this corner. So that has kind of shown me that there are there's perhaps a little more movement that needs to occur. I'm going to tweak on that a little bit more. I'm going to maybe take some measurements, the lip height of this from one side to the other, and do a couple of checks on some of these components here that look like they haven't moved, just to see if maybe there's somewhere that as I have that pressure on there, I can relieve some of that stress down in here to get the right final positioning of this. So let's get after this and see what we can get done to maybe make this set down a little bit better. So the other thing I want to point out is keep in mind that when it comes time to do this quarter panel, I'm going to be drilling out these spot welds here and around here. So all this is going to come off, but this piece and the lip for the trunk here, this all remains. So that's why it's critical that I get it right. You know, I don't care how this looks right now, because this is going to be replaced eventually. But this part needs to be right so that I'm back to normal on this stuff when I come in with my new parts. That's right here. Well, that's interesting. So this rain gutter, if you will, is doing pretty good, nice and flat. Surprisingly enough, it was bent back here. This one is creased up pretty good from where the trunk slammed over. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit first, I think. Rocking it outward. There we go. Good movement there. I don't know if you saw that. Do a little bit of movement. So I'm going to get in here and tap a little. I was planning on not doing anything with this ridge, but I might go ahead and get on that a little bit anyways, because pushing that is going to have some torsional effects on this as well. Did not think when I started today that I'd be working on that side this much, but I am. Let's put the rubber back on here and see what we got just as a starting point before I start doing anything more on this. Let's try some other things. I'm going to try some measurements here and here. I think that while I wait for my new latch mechanism, I'm going to consider that good until I can see how that sucks down on there when it's latched. Alright guys, so this is pretty much going to be it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching. Sorry again for the delays with the windshield, the dash, the airbag. Still working to try to get that. We'll keep plugging away on this and trying to get things going. Again, like I said, my main thing here is that when this quarter panel gets replaced, when I do that work, this stuff here needs to be where it needs to be, because that stays, this goes. So that was the point of this. Hope you learned a little something there, as I did, trying to figure out how every motion has another motion. So moving something here moves a lot of different things, and then you got to relieve the stress once you get it where you'd like it. That's it. I'm Biff. This is Fearless Mods. Take care.